Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to be reviewing the Fanta melon, and I'm also going to be rambling at the same time as well about the film Beetlejuice, because I recently went to go watch it yesterday. So I'm going to be sort of explaining the plot to it and the overall plot of Beetlejuice. So if you haven't seen the new Beetlejuice, which is the second one, then please don't watch this video if you haven't seen it yet, because I'm going to be talking about the story behind it, and I don't really want to ruin it for other people that haven't seen it. So I'm also going to be talking about my channel too, because I need to address a few things about my channel, and I've been thinking about it as well, because it's been making me a little bit tiny upset lately. So yeah. But before I start the video, I'm going to talk about my TikTok. I have a TikTok. If anyone would like to follow me on there, I do filters with music. And I've also done a recent TikTok video on there where I was blowing bubbles in, a drink, for ASMR purposes. I want to try and do like a mixture of ASMR, like filters on there. So I'm going to be doing some more TikToks. I just haven't had the chance. So if you want to follow me on TikTok, I'll leave a link in the description box if you have it, and you can follow me over there. So yeah, so I'm going to be reviewing this Fanta melon. Just try not to shake the table so much because I've got my tripod set and I don't really want it to thingy. So this is a Japanese Fanta. I bought this from a shop called Spa, and they do like different kind of drinks in different countries, and you can't get them anywhere else. Like I'd have to buy them online if I wanted them. But this is Fanta melon. I'll show you the front, and it's all green. I also bought a Coke, a Chinese Coke. This is Japanese. I bought a Chinese Coke as well, which is peach flavour. I want to try and get the strawberry flavour too, so I'll be reviewing that next, hopefully. So I'm just going to tap. Hopefully it picks up the noise. I'll do it from side to side. There we go. I'm going to open this because I've got a glass too. This is one of those sort of beer stein glasses, and I washed it out. When I've got a straw, I always have straws with my drink now, I don't know why, but I just do. So let's just open this and we'll do some fizzing noises in your ear. Right, so, oh, it smells very nice, it smells of melon, so that's good. I'm going to do it here, like pour it here. You can see it as well. Oh, it's pure green as well. It's really cool. As well, look, it's pure green. As well, I'll try to get the fizzes and stuff, but I don't think it'll probably do it. But yeah, anyway, let's review this Fanta, and then I will continue talking on. So I'll just sip it as I go, like along talking. So let's try it. It's very nice actually. It's sort of got like a melon and like tropical sort of taste to it. So I kind of like it. It's very nice. It's very nice. Let me just do some tapping noises with the can too, so we can. So either side. Hopefully that fizz, it picked it up, because hopefully. So anyway, the first thing I'm going to talk about is addresses my channel. So I'll just drink this while I'm addressing it as well. So if I take some sips now and again, then, you know. But it's really nice, that melon Fanta. It's got a tropical taste to it and it's melonish. So if you haven't tried it, then I suggest you go and try it, hopefully. So anyway, I'm gonna ramble a little bit about my channel. Lately I've been feeling a bit, you know, upset about it a lot lately, my channel, like where it's going, and like, you know, not being unsure about, you know, what to do with it. You know, like I've recently lost my monetization in my channel, if anyone doesn't know about it. And I don't know whether to carry on or not, because it's been really slow process as well to try and get my watch time hours up and the shorts as well, which I'm still gonna do, but you know, I feel sometimes as though, like, you know, I feel as though there's some people that care about my channel, about the monetization, and there's some that don't really, and they just want to watch the videos, which is fair enough, as well. But I've decided from probably today that I'm probably going to give it a month or two to pick up on my channel, with the watch time hours and shorts, and then I don't know whether to just not do it anymore. I'll decide about it, but I just don't know whether to do it anymore after the month. So I'm going to give it a month or so to pick up, because I don't want to quit straight away, because it's not the way I am, and I want to try and carry on this channel for other people. But I'm going to do that from now on, just to see if it picks up, because I just feel like, you know, YouTube is really hard to work for, and it's hard to get it back up, and I just really want my monetization back so desperately. So I don't mean to put like a gloom on this at all, because I don't really want to do that to people that watch my channel, but I'm going to give it a few months or so, and then if it doesn't pick up, like my watch time hours don't, or my shorts, and no one really bothers about it as such, I might just not do it anymore, because it's genuinely draining me now, and as well, I'm constantly putting up content every day, and I didn't put content up yesterday, because I went to the cinemas, so I couldn't do it yesterday. That's probably why I haven't posted, because I want to try and do it as much as possible as well. I'm going to take a sip of this again, guys. This is really nice, this. Might be able to do some like bubble blowing as well either side. I might do that actually, no, just for relaxation purposes. If you don't like bubble blowing in drinks, then just, you know, don't watch it. Bubble blow. Mud it by now. I'll try and do it like this so you can see it. Yeah, we'll do that. And then you can do the fizz. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm going to do with my channel. Anyway, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about the film Beetlejuice. Yesterday I went to the cinemas to go watch the new film Beetlejuice. It's been, I think, a few years since a new Beetlejuice has come out. I think Tim Burton has taken a long time to, you know, release the new movie. Release another movie, because I think the first one was like 1988, I believe. So it's quite a long time ago, and that we've got the new one. So this film as well is a few months later or years later after the first film, so it kind of will be a bit confusing. I kind of found the film a bit confusing, because it was sort of like, this happens and that happens and that happens, and it sort of throws all the story at you. But it was a really good film. I'm also going to talk a little bit about a little bit about the story within it as well. Um, as well. But yeah, it was a pretty good film, and I really enjoyed it. There wasn't, where I think it's sort of doing its rounds now, I don't think there was that many people watching it in cinemas, so that was good. I also noticed that with the Beetlejuice film, there was a theme at the beginning, and the theme at the beginning, I don't know whether it's different because our cinema has sort of Dolby Atmos speakers, so it picks up the bass and stuff. So it was a really bassy and sort of different. It didn't sound like the original Beetlejuice theme, so I was kind of like, a bit weirded out by it. I don't know whether it was the bass or what, but I just thought it was a bit different, and I wasn't feeling the vibes of the new theme, if I'm honest. That was just my opinion, but I mean, other people have different ones, so I'm just gonna drink some of this. This is very nice, guys. This Fanta melon, I love, drinking it. So yeah, that was my first opinion of that. So the story is a few years after the first one. So you're in the character lineup. You have Lydia, who is Winona Ryder, and you have the mum, who is Catherine O'Hara, and you also have Gina Ogden, who is the daughter. So Lydia has a daughter in this one, and it's been a few years after. And the film opens with Lydia doing a sort of like ghost show, in effect, to try and make some money because she has like the ability to see ghosts and all that. And there's a bit with a couple where she reveals to them about their house being haunted, and it shows you video footage of her going in the house and the house shaking, and then she tells them what the entity was within the house as well, and they get all scared and shocked. And then after she's explaining all that, and she's still going on with the show, she sees a quick image of like Beetlejuice, and knows that he's still around haunting her. And she then runs off, and they stop the show. And she has a boyfriend as well in the story, who tells her not to take the pills because she has pills for so she doesn't see ghosts and all that, and so she's not mental or crazy. And the boyfriend in the story is Justin Farrow, I think. I don't know how you pronounce it, but he was also in like American Psycho and stuff like that. So she says to him that to let him take her pills for today, and then any other day she'll stop doing it, because he said you need that ability to see ghosts, because she goes in the bathroom and sees a woman ghost who has something through her eye or her head, and she goes, oh hi, and will you please stop bothering me? And then he comes in the bathroom and says don't take them. Then after, she keeps seeing Beetlejuice throughout the film as well, and then she gets a phone call from her mum in the story, who rings her up and says that she needs her to come and see her. I can't remember the mum's name now. I've forgotten after the first one. So she rushes off to see her mum, and her mum is a few years later has got like a sort of business where she's like doing artwork and stuff like that, and she's like showing her own artwork, and you just see like video footage of her and talking about her art. And then Lydia ends up coming to her and asking her what's wrong, and she then says, your father's just recently died, Charles has just died, who is Charles in from the first one is the dad, who was the dad of her, and Lydia was in the first one was sort of this goth girl that didn't really fit in, and she kind of had these ghosts that were like helping her out, and she was friends with them. So yeah, just take some more drink. I'll do some more bubble blowing. Got some fizz noises. And so she says, Lydia, well, how come Charles died? And her mum says that he was going to it because he bird watches a lot, and he looks at birds and examine birds. She said he was going to another country to sort of, to do with his birds. And she said he's gone to another country for his bird watching thing. I don't know where it is. I think it's like Brazil or somewhere else. I can't remember the place, but he was on. She talks about him being on the plane, and it cuts to a sort of cartoon version of Charles, and so he's on the plane, and she says, "Oh, he crashed and stuff and fell, like their plane crashed and everything," and then she goes, "That's not," and then Lydia says, "That's not how it actually happened. How did it actually happen? How did he die?" And then the mum says that he went onto a nearby plank of wood, and then a shark ate him. So like that's the truth. And she said he's died, and she's all upset. And then Lydia, who tells her mum because she needs to deal with her dad being dead, she tries to call her daughter up, who is Gina Ogden. And then it cuts to Gina Ogden, who is the daughter in the story. I don't know what her name is, but she's a daughter in the story, and it cuts to her being at school, and then because it's near Halloween in the story, one of the girls, some of the high school girls, like trick her and put like a ghost near the door, and she goes, "Yeah, and you're real mature, we'll see what happens to you in a few years," something, or a few months, I don't know. She's all cocky and stuff, and then she tries to, she keeps ignoring her mum's calls, and then Lydia says she's not picking up, so they end up driving all the way to her school. I think it's sort of uni or college sort of where she's at. I don't see it, or it's a school, but it kind of looks like a college or uni and stuff. So yeah, and they come to the school, and then Catherine Harron's character, who is the mum, she comes to the sort of front and says, she says her name and says, you need to come because your granddad's recently died, and shouts all this stuff at her. And then she comes out and she goes, "I can't believe Granddad has died," who is Charles, who is her granddad. And I think throughout the story as well, there's a mention of the fact that Gina Ogden's character and her had a dad. She looks at the picture of her dad in the scribble because it drops. And I think before like the first one, apparently they both had she had a dad, and I think he died in like a shipping accident, which she mentions throughout the film. And she gets a bit upset about the fact that where she can see ghosts and stuff, she said, "Why can't you see a ghost of my dad then?" And she gets all upset about her dad. And her boyfriend throughout the whole film wants to be with her and tries to be a dad to Gina Ogden's character, but she just ignores him and doesn't care about him. I think his name's Percy. Oh, no, not Percy, Rory. I think that's his name in the story. And so he keeps trying it with her, and she's all like cocky and like saying stuff back to him. as she's eating, and they have the funeral at the house, the old house that was in the beginning, and at the funeral part, there's I can't remember the song now, but it's an old song that was in the first one where it was Day-o, day-day-day-o, I think it's that. And it does that, but it's a sort of like opera version of it with like all the kids, like all the autoserver kids. And I found the priest in the story really, really funny as well, which was funny. Like, he kept it doing the same funny stuff, because the priest is the guy, I don't know his name, but he was in like Torchwood, In the Dark Knight Rises, and Crimson Peak, and I don't know his name, but he plays Father Damien in the story. Just gonna drink some of this again. Sorry for stopping all the time. This is really nice. I'll probably give this, I'll say an even number, so I give it sort of like 8 out of 10. This drink is Fanta melon, because it's really nice. It's got a sort of melon, tropical vibe. If you haven't already tried this drink, and if you have a spa near you, then you should just totally check this drink out. I'm going to review the Coke as well. Anyway, as I was saying, let's get back onto the story. So they're doing the funeral, and that is a different vibe of the song. And it's funny because Father Damien says something to Catherine O'Hara's character about the living and the life and the death and all that, and she just goes, what? And doesn't understand what he just said, because he said it all complicated and fast. And anyway, throughout the story, Lydia keeps seeing Beetlejuice, and then she mentions it to her mum, and her mum says, why can't you just be that same goth girl that you was and not being accepted and stuff? Why have you got to be all weird, going on about all this nonsense? So she mentions Beetlejuice to her significant other, who asks what the problem is. And she said, that, then she explains to him and says, that time when I went to therapy all those times. And she talks about the demon, which I mentioned, that demon that from the first one, who tried to marry me and everything. And they have the model as well from the first one, from the family. She said, Lydia mentions the family that used to live up in the attic. I think it was a guy character and a woman character. And the model is still there, and it was where Beetlejuice lived as well. And it's really funny because within the sign, there's a thing that says Beetle goes, as his name, has a different vibe to it. And I would say after so many years as well, that the characters haven't really changed. So they all look like the same sort of vibe. So anyway, she mentions this demon and says Beetlejuice. He says Beetlejuice, and she goes, don't say his name. If you say his name 3 times, then he'll appear and all this, like the first one. And so he says, so there's this demon that keeps haunting you. Maybe you should do it dead on. So he ends up saying Beetlejuice 3 times. And then Beetlejuice does all this scary, weird shit where he makes all of his like guts fly out, and his face goes creepy, and the boyfriend thinks it's all some like weird arse dream. It's not real, but she knows it's real. And then this demon baby pops out of Lydia, and it starts attacking her leg, and then she says stuff about him, saying stuff, and she says Beetlejuice 3 times to get out of the house, because she's actually in their house. And it's cool because he puts up like couple therapy, and Michael Keaton is Beetlejuice, like from the original. I wouldn't say he's like changed at all. And I don't think he's changed at all. He's pretty much the same, just a little bit older now, because I think he's like in his 60s or something, I'm not sure. So they end up going to see him, and then he does all this scary stuff. And so then from there, they end up getting out the house, and then she mentions to Gina Argerton's character not to mention the name Beetlejuice and not to mention, she asked where the two ghosts have gone, said they've passed on to the other life. And there's also a mid scene as well that I didn't talk about in the beginning. Like within the beginning, there's also this sort of scene where you see Danny DeVito's character, and it's just the sort of afterlife place with all these doors, and you have Danny DeVito's character going round, and there's someone that walks past him and says, "Where can I find thingy?" He said, "Oh, you've got to take a ticket and go sit down." And he tells him, and he's a cleaner, and then he starts drinking this bleach, and you just see him, his like eyes all, and a lot of the characters within the story all have this sort of under eye look, like this dead look, this dead and distorted look within their face. I think it's because it's Tim Burton and he has that sort of vibe. So anyway, he starts drinking bleach and he starts listening to music and he's cleaning, and then the woman who was Beetlejuice's girlfriend from the past ends up coming back, and she like staples all of her body together, which I thought was really, really clever. And let's just take another sip of this drink, and we'll do some bubble blowing. Noises. I don't know if that's relaxing for people. I just thought it'd be a relaxing vibe to some people, just for the ASMR purposes of this. So yeah, anyway, back to the film, and anyway, she stables herself together, and she ends up coming back, and Beetlejuice tells the story like in a sort of silent, like in a sort of that old black and white film of how they met, to all these little sort of shrunken head, these like guys with shrunken heads who have their mouths stitched up, and they're all called Bob. And the main one, who is called Bob, it makes him dress up as him, because he says, in case my old ex comes back to, ruin everything. And then there's Willem Dafoe's character is in it, and Willem Dafoe is a sort of like dead actor, and you see like when he turns his head, you see sort of half of his brain in it. I actually kind of liked his character within it. It was dead funny because he kept quoting all of his acting lines, and he says, "Oh, I say I hate being a cop," and then I think one of his assistants says, "Oh, you're not a cop, you're an actor." And he does all this sort of acting rhyme, and he's got these like sort of ghoulish police officers that help him out, because he's supposed to be trying to catch a Beetlejuice, because he ends up doing like a code on everyone, like a code red on everyone in the afterlife. So anyway, Gene Argerton's character eventually meets this boy who she believes to be alive, because she crashes into his fence, and he's up in his tree house, and his mum and his dad, they're technically dead in the scenario. They're technically dead because the guy, what eventually comes out is the boy ends up killed his parents, and was in his treehouse at the time and fell out and died in this. But she doesn't know he's a ghost and thinks he's real. And so they end up sort of getting to know one another, and then, Gene Hawkinson's character says that I don't really want to leave because I've got a date with a boy. And she goes, Lydia says a boy, oh, that's kind of cool. And so Lydia picks her up at the boy's house, and then she ends up finding out by one of the people in the story that her daughter, her daughter doesn't know about him. I don't know his name in it, but he pretends to be alive and says, it's into the same stuff that she's into, and she ends up having like a Halloween party at his house and brings snacks, and they end up like kissing one another, and then when they kiss one another, she ends up floating with him in the actual, upon the floor. She ends up floating up from the floor as they're kissing, and then the guy tells her that he's not really alive, he's not living, and that he's a ghost, and he killed his parents, and he fell. No, he just says that he fell. He didn't say anything about killing his parents. That's that later. But he fell over and died. And then she goes, "So you're a ghost." And I'm assuming she can see ghosts, as characters, because her mum can't. And then she says, "My mum was right about ghosts then. They do exist," because she don't believe they do at first. And so anyway, so I can shorten this story because I don't really want to go into all the scenes. I just want to talk about it. What ends up happening is that he says that they can be together, and he can be living again, and they can be together. But that's not the case, because Lydia finds out about what she's doing, by one of the people that come round, because they talk about fairy tales and when they was younger, and then Lydia finds out that the boy isn't really alive and is dead, and she ends up going to the other side with him, and she ends up doing this chant which supposedly makes her stay on the other side and go to the beyond, while he gets to live his life living and everything like that. So Lydia ends up, I think, making it to the other side, because he promises that if she does this, she'll get to see her dad. And then when they get to the booth, they take a picture of her, and she ends up being undead then, and he's allowed to go and live his life as a human, and that's the deal. And these two people capture her and try to put her on the soul train. And there's this sort of dancing soul people with the train and everything. I think it's fun, because if there was an afterlife and there's a beyond, because there's damnation and damnation in it, but then there's a beyond, there's this soul train that you can go on to go to the beyond. And if I'm totally honest, it's kind of cool, because they're all like soul dancers and discoing and stuff, so I actually kind of wouldn't mind that if it was a real thing. So she ends up getting dragged onto the train, and her dad sees her getting captured and says her name and tries to run after her to help her. And then Lydia makes a deal with Beetlejuice he promises to marry him if they save his daughter, which I just think is kind of stupid, because they don't end up doing it, and I don't see why that should be part of the deal. I just think it's because his ex-girlfriend and everything, and he's scared of her. So, and his ex-girlfriend sucks souls out of the bodies when she comes back to life all the time, so she can, stay alive, or just her vibe. And she kind of reminds me, I do know who she is. She's a woman from Spectre, an actor from Spectre, and she's called Monica Bellucci, I believe, and she kind of had that sort of a Morticia vibe when I watched her in Beetlejuice. I don't know why. So anyway, long story short, so I can sort of, not make this video too long. If you're asleep by the end of this video, I don't mind, to be honest. So yeah. Then, long story short, they end up helping out. Beetlejuice makes his part of the deal and ends up helping out Lydia to get her daughter back, because she gets her daughter back. And the dad says that we need to get her soul back so that she can still be alive. So the dad helps them and they hug the dad because they've missed him so much and he's dead. And the dad says to both of them, sits them down in this like coffee shop, that they need each other and that they shouldn't be apart from one another. And so they eventually find the guy who's got, he says, don't stamp the passport. And then there's Beetlejuice there who stamps it and says it's avoided. And then he ends up pushing a lever and he falls into this fire for like hell sort of thing. It's like hell and damnation. And he ends up falling through and there's all this fire. And then they both end up making it out alive through this sort of worm sandy place with the sort of like worm that comes up from like the original that eats and stuff. And so they make it out up to the like graveyard, and a lot of the bobs get out, but one bob in particular, because I felt sorry for him, is where he can't speak because he's got his mouth stitched. The Beetlejuice's ex sucks a soul, asks him where Beetlejuice is, and she ends up sucking his soul out, and he ends up just dying and stuff. But yeah. But anyway, they end up getting out, and then Lydia finds out that Rory, who she was supposed to be marrying, is kind of like didn't want to marry her for her and wanted her just for the money and for the show and all that. So she kind of punches him and he goes away. And then Beetlejuice does this sort of song-a-thon as soon as he gets married, and it takes a long time, and Gina Orgeton's character comes up with like drawing something on the floor and making a snake come up and bite some of them so they can go. And she says to Beetlejuice that she doesn't necessarily have to marry him as part of the deal. Like, that doesn't come with the deal. So Lydia ends up saying Beetlejuice 3 times, and he ends up blowing up eventually. And then he says, as a joke at the end, like, oh, I wish I'd got married in Vegas. And then like he disappears. And then obviously Lydia's mum's character ends up dying because she uses snakes and she talks to Charles in his grave. She ends up getting like poisoned, like they're poisonous bites, she ends up dying. And he says, William Dafoe's character takes her back to the afterlife in a way. And she says, don't worry, I'll just, ruin you by spooking you out, haunting you, reminding you that I'm still down there. And so she ends up going away, and then they end up hugging each other, Lydia and her daughter in the story. And then at the end, Lydia has a sort of nightmare about, Gina Orgeton's character being in love with this vampire dude, and them having this sort of, and about the baby, the sort of miniature Beetlejuice baby that like eats everyone. And then she wakes, and then Beetlejuice ends up being next to her going, oh, I just had a crazy dream. And then that ends up being, and she wakes up finally and gets all freaked out by it. And then the film sort of ends from there, I think. I'm sorry I'm kind of rushing through it, guys. I kind of just don't want this long. It's already 30 minutes, but yeah. That's pretty much the story and the vibe of, the Beetlejuice film. I'm sorry I rambled on too much about what the film is about, but I just want people to know what it's about. I'm going to drink some more of this. This is going to be the last sort of drink of it. I mean, I've almost nearly finished it, but I'll probably finish the rest of camera if I can. We'll do some more bubble blowing for relaxation. I don't know if that's loud or not, but hopefully hopefully it's relaxing and loud. So yeah guys, I'm gonna end this video now because it's been long enough. I really like this melon sort of drink. It's very, very nice. My next video I will be reviewing the Coke. I might not ramble as much in that one, I'll see. But I'm just going to do some tapping either side for relaxation purposes. I'm going to try to do some more ASMR whispering videos, more of them soon coming up. And there's a lot of people that want me to do requests too, but I will do your requests when I can. I've got other videos lined up that I want to do, and I don't really want to like be pressured into doing other videos at the moment, considering. But if you also, before I leave, I just wanted to say that if you can watch my videos constantly, it would really help, because I really need to get my watch time. I think I'm up to 500 and something. I think it's 556 views. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and check it, but I'm not sure. But I'm almost there, but I'm not quite there. The thing that annoys me with it as well is that with the shorts, I have to, I have to post them, and it says you have to get up to like 3 million views for your shorts, which I think is stupid, because how am I going to get to 3 million without the shorts? Nobody views them that much. But if I do end up putting shorts up, please view them constantly, and also please continue to view these videos, even if you just run them in the background and you listen to me, and it sort of helps you go to sleep. I don't know if you have headphones, then I'd advise you to wear them and listen to this. Just carry on watching them so that I can get my views and everything back. So I can get my views up so my monetization can come back. I will keep you updated about the monetization issue, but like I've said at the beginning, I'm giving it a few months or so for it to pick up and for me to get that. But if I don't see any improvement and I don't see anyone really caring about it as such, I'm not going to do my channel anymore. And I don't want to have to say that, but that's how I feel towards it, because it's mentally draining me posting videos all the time on my channel. And I have a few people that I sort of care about my channel. Like I have ASMR Foodie and other people that sort of been watching them and helping me, but I don't see anybody I don't want to say hitting meanness or out. I just don't see anybody else sort of really caring about the monetization side, and I kind of need the monetization for my channel to work on my channel so I can have the ads, because I'm losing out on getting paid on my videos, and it really puts me down. So that's what I'm going to do, guys. I know I don't want to have to leave my own channel, because that's not the way, but yeah. I'm just going to have one more drink of this. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and hope you enjoyed my review of this Fanta. I'm probably going to give it an 8 out of 10, like I said throughout, because I don't want to give it a 10 out of 10 or 9, because I haven't tried the Coke, the Chinese Coke. So once I've done that one, which will probably be the next video after this, and then I'm going to go on to doing some more ASMR types of videos where I do more whispering in like binaural, do it more binaural. Hopefully this is the binaural from the drink and everything else come out binaural and you've enjoyed it. I know not many people will like I don't know how loud the bubble blowing is. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. But anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'm sorry this video is long. So, but I hope you all have a wonderful day today and you enjoy your day so far. And I will see you all guys in another video. Bye guys.